Okay, part two, we're putting your gun back together, and this should be pretty quick, but there are some finer things you need to know about or you could cause damage to the gun. When I was taking part of 760, it's very similar. You have to watch out for just some basic things. We got your O-rings replaced. Okay, now what we had before, let me show you, I just popped it up off camera, but okay, when we cleared your bolt out of the breech, we pushed down the hammer, it cocked it, and what that does is it allows your valve to retain air right here. And that worked in our favor when we were taking it apart because the pump helped push this out. But now we do not want that. This is something I also hit with the Crossman, different format, but you don't want your gun resisting you as you're putting it back together. That's how things get damaged and you don't have a gun. So, okay, so now we pull the trigger, but there is a safety catch right here, and that's where your bolt loads in it and actually touches that and disengages that when you're loading your gun. So now we push it by hand and then pull your trigger. There we go. And that's how we want to put it back together, because now the valve is open and air can just rush through there and it won't resist you. Okay, then we want to reestablish your pump tube. Don't forget the pump tube. Okay, so that goes here. And line it up with your barrel as best you can and then push on it. There we go, nice little pop there. That's always a good thing. And that make sure it's secure and airtight in the back. And this is good like the Daisy 35. It's got mating spots right there. You can see that. And on the other side, that's something that the 880 doesn't have. It actually does a good job actually locking onto the barrel assembly right there. Okay, so now let's put it back in your gun. Again, make sure you pull that trigger. All right. Okay, and you'll have to look coming in through this side. You'll be looking with your eyes through there to make sure it lines up with some holes in here to get inside your frame of your gun. Okay, now it's the crucial part. Let me shine a light on this. You gotta be very careful not to damage your pump head. It does have a metal part on it, but you don't want to damage it. It's plastic. And there is some metal there, but still you don't want to damage. Oh, actually, wait, let me see something here. Oh, I think that's different than Daisy 35. Hold on, let me look at something here for you. All right, just curious. And the first time I noticed that is, oh, there isn't a metal plate there. I don't see. Okay, that's okay. Yeah, the Daisy 35 has a metal plate because it's a multi-pump. But anyway, so let's go ahead and again. So I'll shine a light in there. And so we're looking to mate that with your pump tube, and we got to be careful because that one doesn't have a metal plate in front of it. So we got to manipulate it in there very carefully. There we go. Okay, hope everybody can see that. There we go. Just went right in. Okay, everybody can see that? Yeah. Okay, there. Okay, and then we push this in. There we go. And where it can be tricky is getting it back into your front sight, basically, that holds the front of your barrel. And we got to do that with some finesse and be careful with that. So, and also watch out for the retaining pins back in there, that they don't get in the way. I found it's best to put the barrel down. Okay, so look at that, and then that helps get it into position. So there we go. There we go. Okay, there, perfect. Look at that. Okay, so now sometimes you'll have to use maybe a metal plate, like a weightlifting plate, and you'll have to kind of push it on there, but that one just went in beautifully. That just went nice and snug. So let me get the retaining pin out for you so you can see what that looks like. Okay, so the retaining pin goes right there. Okay, so put that in there. And we do want that in there. We definitely, now, okay, so it looks like, actually, I could still stand to push it in there a little bit more. So I'll go ahead and make use of that weight. And there we go. And also you can use the retaining pin itself to kind of jimmy it, the frame with the body of the gun, to get jimmy it into position. So it's kind of like this, where you're using it to kind of pry it into the correct spot. So let me see here. Okay, so we're trying to get it through there and mate it up on the other side. So this is one of the trickier parts, is just making sure this thing is mated together well. Okay, and we just do it till we get it done. Just keep working with it. And, all right. There we go. There we go. See, I just had to wiggle it and pry it. You kind of use it as a little pry bar, and you wiggle it in there till you get it done. And then there we go. So you can see if you can see that. There you go. I'm not trying not to zoom in and out. I'm just preferring to come in and out to the camera. It's easier for this. So there you can see what that looks like. Okay. All right. So now we put back on your receivers. And as far as, oh wait, sorry. Your stock comes first. Put your stock on. All right. There we go. Okay, and then get your plate out of the way. Okay, now when you're putting on your receivers, don't lose your BB trap door. All right, so make sure that goes in there. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's go ahead and open it up. Open up the pump, and there is a mating spot right here. So there is a spot right there, similar to your Grizzly, right here, and we made it in there. Okay. Now, the main thing we want to be careful with, now we actually push down on the hammer. Okay, so there we go. We got that on. Okay, it's made it up to the stock really nicely. Okay, so now we do want to push down on your hammer because we got to get the bolt back in there. So now we push that down. And again, we keep the pump open. Sorry about that. Keep the pump open. Keep it out of the way. The bolt is back here. Okay. The bolt's back there. And again, there's a mating hole right there. Gosh, let me shine a light on there for you. Right there. There it is. Oh, sorry. I should have used that on the other side. But that's what's on the other side too. Okay. So let's go ahead and get that in there. And there we go. And just there we go. Snap back together. Load in your bolt. Close up your pump. Okay, now the gun's back together. It's that easy, folks. Again, no coiled spring, no compressors, no barrel jams that require complete disassembly. This thing is more accurate and downrange, I believe, more powerful than some of the other youth rifles that are springed. It has a longer barrel, 19-inch real barrel, and a better trigger. As the daughter of the 880, it has the 880 trigger. Okay, so let's go over some of the nuts and bolts of this. Okay, so obviously, I'll just do a little bit of put some of the screws back in. The big one obviously goes right here. That's pretty self-explanatory. The long ones, there's the long ones that really stick out. Those always go across the top. Again, these long ones, longer than the other screws, that's always the top screw. So make sure that you definitely do that. Okay, so you definitely want to make sure that those are always across the top. Oh, there you go. I'll stay right there because you can see in the background. Okay, and then with the all-important stock screws, remember, keep them organized. And there's 5 sets of screws, so keep them organized. All right, so that's one of the stock screws. So that goes right here. And here, there we go. Okay, all right. Let's see if we get you some white background there. Okay, so that goes right there. Okay, now see how easy this was? I mean, wow. It's such a beautifully designed gun, and whoever thought of finally making a single pump 880 really is smart. Okay, then you have 2 screws right here. Do not confuse those with the stock screws. They are very close to them. You can barely tell them apart. All right, so make sure that you get these in there. Those might be, ideally, to tell you the truth, though, 2 you want to put together first are these ones that go in the front of the receiver. Okay, and don't strip them. Just enough to hold on the front. Okay, and then the micro screw, a little tiny guy like that, goes right here. Okay, so I'm basically showing you where these different sets of screws go. So you have a fast screw. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Again. Okay, so the different types: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Literally 5 different types of screws. So make sure you get them right, and do not please confuse these screws with those screws. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop there. And yeah, that is it. You just replace both O-rings. Your gun's ready to go. Loaded up with Daisy BBs, Black Diamond BBs also do well out of this. As far as pellets, econs, and Excite hollow points, Beeman hollow points. So that's it. It's that simple, folks.